So I'm just brushing up on my research, folks, and I'm going through some of these injections and the contents in some of these injections, folks, that they freely admit to, and the contents that they don't admit to, folks. The fetal cell lines are just some of them, folks, yeah? Just take a look at this. They are taken from aborted fetuses. And they tell us that it happened a long time ago, but I suspect strongly that they still use these cells because there are abortions taking place all over the place, folks, with the X cells and the EC293 fetal cell line, the WY38 diploid human fibroblast cells, again taken from a 3-month-old female fetus, folks, and they're doing this all over the place in all countries. And you can find this all out doing your easy research. So what I try and find out is what they don't readily admit to, folks, or try and hide from you, yeah? And one of those, from a few years ago, one of those so-called safe and effective injections, which ended up being very unsafe and very defective. They admitted, these are what they admitted to, and I've made a few notes here, 4 sides of these little tiny bits of paper. But I just want you to know, because some of you listening now will have had these injections, yeah? So one of these so-called safe and effectives contained a replicant, incompetent, recombinant adrenovirus, yeah? The type 26A SARS-CoV-2 spike protein. And it contained citric acid monohydrate. And monohydrate citric acid, yeah, is used as a preservative. And then we've got trisodium citrate, dihydrate, yes, trisodium citrate, dihydrate, which is the sodium salt of citric acid. So you've got 2 citric acids, yeah. It's the sodium salt of citric acid used as an anticoagulant, yeah. You'll have to bear with me on some of these things I have to try and say here. And the side effects of this are diarrhea, nausea, pain in the stomach and vomiting. The side effects of the monohydrate are rash, hives, itching, wheezing, tightness of the chest and throat, red, swollen, blistered, peeling skin, with or without fever, that is. You have trouble swallowing or talking, yeah. The swelling of the mouth, of the face, of the lips, the tongue and the throat, yeah. And then we get to ethanol. You have a think about ethanol. All of us know what ethanol is and what it's used in, folks, which depletes the oxygen in your blood cells, folks. And it's produced by fermentation of sugars. It is a colourless, volatile and very flammable liquid, yeah. And the side effects can result in severe health issues such as drowsiness, nausea again, vomiting again, loss of coordination, plus other side effects that I won't go into. There's just too many of them, folks. And then there's number 2, hydroxypropyl B cyclodextrine, yeah, which is used to enhance the solubility of water-based drugs. And its side effects are a decrease in body weight gain, a decrease in liver weight, and an increase in kidney weight. Think about those things. So then we have polysorbate H, yeah, which is a very versatile surfactant and emulsifier, and surfactants are sprayed down on us in those fucking trails I show you all the time, folks, used in a lot of soap products, yeah, used to bind things together. And they are used in many ways, these surfactants and emulsifiers, and in many products. And its main job, like I said, is to blend products together. And the side effects, again, are rash, itching, swelling, especially the face, the tongue, the throat, severe breathing and dizziness, plus many other side effects, folks. Are these all sounding very familiar? All these things, it's bad enough if one of these things in an injection causes these side effects, never mind fucking nearly every single one of them, yeah? Then we get to sodium chloride, or salt. We all know it as salt, and its side effects when injected into your bloodstream, not on your food, folks, or fast heartbeat, fever, hives, itching or a rash, hoarseness, irritation, joint pain, stiffness or swelling, redness of the skin, shortness of breath, and many, many more. And then we have sodium hydroxide, which is a strongly alkaline, deliquescent compound used in many industrial products and processes, yes, such as soap and paper production and so on. And then we have hydrochloric acid, which is strongly acidic and very corrosive. And its side effects are skin and eye burns, respiratory irritation and damage, plus gastrointestinal damage. And again, more and more side effects, folks. And that's just some of the things that they want you to know that's in this stuff that you can research. But there are other things such as the graphene oxide, which once in your system becomes graphene hydroxide and then makes you connectable digitally through the Wi-Fi systems, through all this radiation in air, folks. So you're connected through all the smart technology, you're chatting to, if data can be retrieved from you, it can be processed into you, folks, through your wireless body area networks and the body-to-body area networks, through the MAC addresses, which people have got now, if they took those various injectables, folks. If they readily rolled their sleeves up. Deagle.com told us years ago that 95% of the populace were in peril, were in danger of being depopulated, especially by this year alone, 2025. And then when you look what took place from 2020 onwards, and around about 95% of the populace have given up and succumbed to these various injectables, folks. And the latest figures from Deagle.com were that they were exceeding those figures, folks, and that maybe 97% of the populace would at some point suffer some catastrophic event which would get the numbers down. But they would be in perpetual balance with nature. There's no such fucking thing. There's no such perpetual balance with nature except in some sick motherfuckers, psychopathic, sociopathic imagination. And you can go into the flu jabs, and you can go into the pneumonia jabs and the shingles jabs, folks, and look at the contents. Don't use Google, because Google will steer you away from the truth. You know, you've got to try and do your due diligence, and that is looking a little bit beyond, Wikipedia and Google, folks, because they will tell you lies. They'll tell you what they think you want to know. And stay away from these chatbots, folks. They're programmed to disinform you big time. But there's a lot more involved in these things, folks. People were injected with this graphene. They were injected with these transmitting devices, folks. And if the body can transmit out, information can be transmitted in. And then you look at the likes of Kennedy and all them now, and the World Economic Forum, who is saying that, the human species is now hackable. Just have a think about that, folks. Have a think about the graphene oxide that once inside the body becomes graphene hydroxide and then makes you connectable to all this network, to all this shit that's taking place, folks. And your data is being stored, it's being stolen, it's being misused and abused. And every time you walk past someone else or something else that has this technology in it, this transmittable, receivable technology in it, then you are unknowingly chit-chatting to each other, passing information on. And the body's electrics are being used to power this stuff, folks. It's not the cell towers. It's not necessarily the radiation in air, yeah? But your electricity, or your aura, as you know, your electrical aura, your electrical field, it is being used. Why you're fucking tired all the time, why you feel sapped all the time, folks, and why you can't get your energy levels up. It's just something to think about. It's something I want people to take an active part in researching, folks, because I've done it since 2011, yeah, to now. 15 years, going on for 16 years soon, folks. And for people to try and tell me that I'm wrong about this still now, when they've done no research at all, or they've simply Wikipedia'd and given an answer that says it's all bullshit. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, that's it. I'm just pondering my next move now. We've seemed to have eradicated them all, or moles. And we do have some new grasses popping through here and there. In a couple of weeks' time, I should imagine we'll have the makings of a new lawn. I've seeded all the way across and then just tried to fill out where possible. And my Debbie, dead proud of her today. She's had all in her wisdom tooth. And she felt the need to go and speak to a dentist. I took her to the dentist today, and the dentist obviously wanted to inject her and then to drill and then to fill. And Debbie made it quite clear to them, I could hear her arguing with them, that she was not, because they've got it on her records, she's been there before, so they've got it on her records that she's very anti-fluoride, and they don't understand why. Even though we have give them information and explained that the hydrofluorofluoric acid is not fucking deep earth mineral fluoride. But they seem to reject anything we tell them about that. So Debbie had told them that she did not want any injections at all into her. And after 10 minutes of arguing the toss with them, they agreed to drill the tooth at Debbie's insistence and then fill it without any anaesthetic. And they weren't happy about that. Tried talking her out of it, but Debbie insisted, no, I want, paying for this, I want it done. Anyway, so they used some very fine drills and then a wider drill, and they filled successfully, yeah, without causing any distress to Debbie whatsoever. There was no pain. They didn't hit a nerve or nothing. So it just shows you, folks, if you can avoid these fucking injections, avoid them. 2 years ago, I had a wisdom tooth at the back, and for a month or two leading up to that Christmas, I had this pain, which I've always been good at blocking pain out. And then it suddenly dawned on me, I'm going to have this thing removed, because when I squeezed at the side, pus came out. You could smell it, taste it. So over the Christmas period, for about 3 weeks, I wobbled the tooth. You get wobbling and squeezing and pushing this way, that way, and the other way. To a point where I was sure that if I persevered, give it another few days, maybe another week, I'd be able to pull this tooth out. One morning I got up and there was no pus, no smell, and the tooth was looser than it had ever been. So I basically got a pocket knife, a kettle of hot water over it, popped it in, and just give it one almighty yank, and out it come. I don't go to the doctors. I haven't been to see a doctor, 20 odd, getting on for 30 years. And I won't go near a dentist, and I certainly won't go near a fucking hospital, folks. They will never get their hands on me. Never. I'll make sure of that. I will go peacefully in my sleep. And if I don't go peacefully, then I'll just go in my own way, folks. Anyway, I'm proud of Debbie today. We make a good team here now, and we're on the same page constantly. Always. Always have been, always will be. And we learn from each other and try and share that knowledge as best we can. It's just a shame that almost 99% of people that we try and share it with then stick that up at us behind our backs, folks, because no fucker listens. The people of today do not listen. So everything we do, all these notes we make, all this stuff that we write into ledgers, the videos we make, the boots that we produced, yeah, they're a time capsule. They're going to be kept for a time in the future when this fucking stuff will be needed, folks, and it will, believe me, and we'll go down in our story. Yeah, not history. And with that shot from me and Ellie, I kid ye not. Right, you, let's go and get your hair cut.